The Seahawks have a golden opportunity to repeat as back-to-back champions, with most key players returning and $75 million in cap space this offseason. But there are a few major decisions the Hawks need to make this offseason with their free agents, as several key contributors are hitting free agency. Today, we're breaking down Seattle's top 6 free agents and how these decisions will define the Seahawks' identity next year. What's up, everyone? Kyle Guerrero here, host of Seahawks Digest, where we bring you everything Seahawks news related as it is happening in real time. And we aren't even done celebrating the Super Bowl yet. Not even close to done celebrating. But we have some major decisions coming up that are going to shape the team for next season. You see, winning the Super Bowl is amazing. It's great. But as we've learned before, championship windows do not stay open for long. Seattle has put the league on notice. We have everyone's attention right now. We have momentum and we have money to spend. And we also have most of our players returning next season. But the margin for error is really thin, and we have some really big decisions to make this offseason. One misstep, and this roster could look completely different in 2026. So today we're breaking down Seattle's top 6 free agents, who we think we should re-sign, and who we're willing to let walk. Let's get into it. But before we dive in, quick reminder, we have noticed over 98% of you guys are not subscribed. So hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and ring a bell so you don't miss any Seahawks offseason updates. Now let's get into it. So the Seahawks do have most of our key players returning, and we have $75 million in cap space to spend. Keep in mind, JSN's extension and Devon Witherspoon's, they will not kick in until next season. So even with all the space available that we have right now, we need to realize that role players, their market value skyrockets when they're on championship teams. A role player for us is now going to be an elite starter on another team, value-wise. So a lot of guys that we might not think were elite for us this year are going to get a payday somewhere else if we're not willing to offer them what they want. And if we make the wrong decisions here, we really risk closing our championship window prematurely. So here are the players that are going to define our offseason. The first one is Coby Bryant, who was a great safety for us this year. He was a key piece of Seattle's championship defense, offering flexibility in the slot, outside, and rotational coverage. He played multiple roles seamlessly, and his football IQ allowed the Seahawks to disguise coverages and create turnovers. Coby was honestly really amazing for us all year. He played great in coverage. He was tackling. I think it was 4 interceptions he had on the season. And he was really able to play in all of the different schemes that Mike was running. He was able to play in all of those different defensive packages. So while Bryant was a key contributor for us all season long, in 2025, his cap hit was only $1.1 million. He is projected to earn an average annual value of $14.2 million per season moving forward, which is an absolute massive upgrade from what he's getting right now. That is 14 times more what the Seahawks paid him this year. So that really raises the question of, do we think he is worth this massive pay upgrade? Secondary depth and flexibility are priority needs, and letting Bryant walk creates an immediate hole that Seattle would have to fill with draft capital or re-signing someone else in the free agency. So what do you guys think? Do you think Coby Bryant is worth this contract extension? Do you think we should pay him around $14 million a year? I really do think we should. He's familiar with the scheme already, and he can mentor those young guys that we bring in and have around him. But let's hear from you guys down in the comment. Do you think we should re-sign Bryant? Next player up, we have the corner Jobe, and he quietly emerged as a solid contributor in the secondary rotation, showing strong ball skills and versatility. Younger than Bryant, he has room to grow into a starter, especially after shining in the Super Bowl run. And I mean, Josh really filled in for Woolen when he was playing awful at some points in this season, and he did step up and he filled in the role very well. He played key coverage snaps all season long. He helped limit explosive plays in big games, and he showed improvement game to game as the season went on. Again, he's another guy that is used to the scheme now. He's used to how Mike likes to play defense. It would provide continuity moving forward for us. And he keeps us looking nice in those nickel and dime packages. But with the same thing as Coby, Jobe is looking at a big payday. In 2025, we paid him 2.1 million, and now in 2026, he is projected to get 9 million on the market. So, what do you guys think about re-signing Jobe? Drop a yes if you think we should, and no, but I want to hear from you guys what you think we should do here. Around that 8-9 million mark, it's not a bad tier to get a mid-level guy like Jobe, who did start for us a lot of this season. But I think we need to compare with Woolen when we get into him in just a little bit. I think we keep one or the other, and I'm thinking we keep Josh Jobe. Next man up is one of all Seahawks fans' favorite players, Rashid Shaheed, who has been absolutely dynamic since we brought him over from New Orleans at the midseason trade deadline. He had that insane kickoff return against the Rams that brought us back into that game when we came back from down 15. He had that insane kickoff return against the 49ers to get the playoffs started for us. But we need to decide if he is worth bringing him back next year. While he's been a key contributor, he really did not have that much yards as a receiver for the Seahawks this year. I think he had under 200 receiving yards in about 9 games, which is really not great for a guy as your second or even third wide receiver. But the great thing about Shaheed is just his dynamic playing in special teams, how he's able to break off for a run at any single moment on a jet sweep and go to the house. But again, Shaheed is now a Super Bowl champion, and the league has noticed how dynamic and great he is. And there are rumors that the Denver Broncos are keeping close eyes on him. In 2025, we paid him $5 million, and that number is expected to bloom up to 14.2 in free agency this offseason. So it brings up the question, do we re-sign Shaheed? And I want to hear what you guys think, but honestly, do you guys remember that rookie Torrey Horton, the guy that had 5 touchdowns in the first half of the season, the guy that was dynamic on kick returns, basically doing what Shaheed did before he came over from New Orleans? I think he was a 5th-round rookie, and if I'm not mistaken, he's about $1 million a year, which is $13 million cheaper than what Shaheed is going to get. So in my opinion, I think we develop Torrey Horton and we let him step into the role that Shaheed really blossomed in the second half of the season. So I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but I do think we let Shaheed walk. Next guy up, and I know I brought him up on the screen earlier, but next guy up now is Tariq Woolen, one of our cornerbacks. And Reek had about as much of a hot and cold season as you possibly could. He had moments where he was great, and then there were other moments where we wanted to trade him. We wanted to release him at moments in this season. But, Mike kept his belief in him. And, Reek kept up that hot and cold play all season. There were also tweets that Tariq Woolen was liking during the season about him potentially wanting to go to other teams this offseason. It feels like he didn't really fit the Mike Macdonald scheme all too well. But Reek is going to be in that cornerback market where he's going to get mid-tier money. So last year we gave him $1 million, and his market value this offseason is going to be about $8.1 million. So I don't know. I'm thinking it's between him or Jobe who we keep, and then we go in the draft and we get a rookie that can kind of fill in well in this position. But if I look back to this season, some of the plays I hated the most all year were because of Tariq Woolen. Week 1, we lost that game because he gave up a touchdown in the end zone against the 49ers, a game we should have won. He had that play against the Rams in the playoffs where we were about to get off the field and go up by 2 touchdowns. Instead, he taunted the whole Rams bench and then gave up a touchdown on him on the very next play, getting torched by Puka Nacua. And again, in the Super Bowl, he just got beat by Mac Hollins right down into the corner. All moments that are thinking it might be time for us just to move on from Tariq Woolen. So I don't know about you guys, but this seems like a no-brainer to me. And I also feel like Woolen maybe doesn't even want to come back to the Seahawks this offseason. But let me know what you think down below. Moving on to our next guy, Boye Mafe, who was a good rotational piece for us all season long, especially when guys went down with injuries. But his stats don't really tell all the story. He was, again, great at moments, and then other moments we didn't really notice he was even playing. But on the edge is where we need depth. So if it's not Boye Mafe, we're going to have to get someone in the draft or in free agency. We paid Mafe $2.1 million in 2025, and in 2026 he's projected to have $8 million on the open market value. And I just don't really know if he's worth this kind of money when we can go and get someone in the draft, or if we can sign someone for even less in free agency that can give the same kind of value that Mafe did this year. But again, edge depth is really critical. And if someone on our line gets injured, he is someone that could sub in at any time and is very familiar with our scheme. But what do you guys think? Should we re-sign Mafe? Drop a comment down below and let me know why. I think for the amount of money that he could get somewhere else this offseason, we could just replace his value a little bit cheaper somewhere else. And last, but most certainly not least, we have our Super Bowl MVP, Kenny K9 Walker, who just had a great year all season long. And he got a lot of hate from fantasy players that Zach Charbonnet was stealing touchdowns, but people don't even realize that is why we did that. K9 has a history of getting injuries that would keep him out late in the season, and especially in moments that we needed him. So his split workload all year with Charbonnet is the reason he was able to step up so well this offseason and be the MVP. Walker was just absolutely amazing down the stretch. And it might have been some of the best running back play I've ever seen. He would get the ball at the line of the scrimmage, wait 2 seconds for a pocket to open up, and then accelerate and gain about 10, 15 yards at ease. He was doing this up the middle. He was doing this on outside runs. He was doing this on screen passes and still gaining hella yards and juking dudes out of their socks. And if there's anyone from the Seahawks that is going to be hot on free agency when it opens, it is going to be Kenneth Walker. There are rumors the Chicago Bears are interested. There are rumors the Kansas City Chiefs are interested, and many other teams. We paid him $2.1 million this year, and I think this was the last year of his rookie deal. He's expected to get about $9 million on free agency right now. So $9 million is really not that much, but for a running back, that's kind of mid-tier money. My only worry with Kenneth Walker is injuries, but if we're able to get a backup that can support him, kind of like Charbonnet did until Charbonnet is healthy again next season, I think this is an absolute no-brainer to bring Kenny back. What do you guys think? Should we bring back our Super Bowl MVP, or should we look elsewhere in free agency this offseason? Now, with the Seahawks having $75 million available in cap space this offseason, technically at these guys' market values, we do have the space to bring back every single one of them, at least for next year. But it also raises questions of if some of these guys are really worth that money, or do they just have the championship inflation? But, if we trust anyone, it is the GM of the year, Mr. John Schneider. He is going to go out there and make the decisions necessary to really make this team elite for next year. So yes, while we are still celebrating our Super Bowl victory right now, many other teams have already had over a month to get ahead of us preparing for next year. So what do you think are the must-make moves the Seahawks do this offseason if we want to repeat as Super Bowl champions again next year? If you like this video, please like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and we are going to be dropping Seahawk content all off season and keeping you up to date with what the Hawks are doing on our quest to go back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I'm Kyle Guerrero, and as always, go Hawks.